ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome you all for today's session. Today we are reading from the book The Path of Perfection, and we are beginning from chapter number 8. Chapter number 8. Failure and success in yoga. Suppose I give up my business, my ordinary occupation, and begin to practice yoga, real yoga, as explained herein by Lord Sri Krishna. Suppose I practice and somehow or other I fail. I cannot properly complete the process. Wait, then what then is the result? This is Arjuna's very next question. Arjuna uvacha ayatihi shraddhayopeto yogaschalata manasah अप्राप्य योग संसिद्धिम काम गतिम कृष्ण गच्छति. Kam gatim Krishna gacchati. What is the destination of that yogi who could not achieve perfection in yoga? Where will he go? What will be the result for him? Arjuna said, what is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere, who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? The path of perfection, the path of self-realization of mysticism is described in the Bhagavad Gita. The basic principle of self-realization is knowing that I am not this material body, but am different from it. So the basic principle of self-realization is to understand, to know that I am not this material body, but I am different from it. And my happiness is in eternal life, bliss, and knowledge. My happiness is not in temporary life, flickering happiness, and the so-called knowledge, which is actually ignorance. My actual happiness is in Sat Chit Ananda. My actual happiness is in eternal life, bliss, and knowledge. Before arriving at the point of self-realization, one must take it for granted that he is not this body. That lesson is taught in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita. The living entity is not this material body, but something different. and his happiness is in eternal life. So the very first lesson what Krishna teaches Arjuna is this, that Arjuna, you are lamenting ashochan anvashocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashasi. Ashochan anvashocastvam. So you are lamenting for which a wise man should never lament. So that is the material body. So one should understand that we are not this material body. That is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. We are pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, part and parcel of God. Clearly, this life is not eternal, right? It's very clear in front of our eyes. That is why whenever somebody wants to say something of 100% surety, they say as sure as death. That means death is 100% sure. Everybody knows that any person, any living entity who has taken some body has to leave the body one day. Nobody is eternal. So clearly, nobody is eternal in the sense no bodies are eternal, no material bodies are eternal. But as Atma, as pure spirit soul, we are all eternal. We never die. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The sharira will die, but the Atma will never die. Clearly, this life is not eternal. The perfection of yoga means attaining a blissful, eternal life full of knowledge. All yoga systems should be executed with that goal in mind. So, all the different yoga systems are there nowadays. People are creating their own yoga systems, right? Somebody is teaching physical exercises, somebody is teaching some breathing exercises, somebody teaches something else, somebody teaches meditating on some light, somebody teaches meditating on some sound. Different kinds of invented systems are there. But apart from these so-called man-made systems, there are proper yoga systems mentioned in the Shastras. The Ashtanga yoga system, the Hatha yoga system, Dhyana yoga system, Jnana yoga system. So the goal of all these yoga system is to get the eternal life full of knowledge and full of. This is actually the goal of all yoga systems. All yoga systems should be executed with this goal in mind. It is not that one attends yoga classes to reduce fat or to keep the body fit for sense gratification. No, this is not the purpose of yoga. The purpose of yoga is to get eternal body, eternal life, spiritual body, and a spiritual body which is full of happiness and full of knowledge. And this material body is full of unhappiness, full of miseries, full of ignorance and temporary. So yoga systems are not to keep this temporary body fit. No. Yoga systems are meant to connect ourselves with the Supreme Self and attain the goal of life, that is to get the Satchidananda spiritual body. This is not the goal of yoga. It is not that one attends yoga classes to reduce fat or to keep the body fit for sense gratification. This is not the goal of yoga. But people are taught this way because they want to be cheated. Right? So many teachers today nowadays you will find in every apartment you will find some yoga teachers. Every apartment you will find some meditation teacher, right? But why they are there? Because people want to get cheated. People want ignorance. People want something which is false. Request everyone to mute your mics, please. Hare Krishna. Request all the devotees, please mute your mics, please. Someone's mic is on. I'm not able to recognize whose it is because on my screen the book is open. Actually, if you undergo any exercise program, your body will be kept fit. There are many systems of bodily exercise, weightlifting, and other sports, and they help keep the body fit, reduce fat, and help the digestive system. Therefore, there is no need to practice yoga for these purposes, right? So, to keep the body fit, you can do some physical exercises. We should not name those physical exercises as yoga, right? Physical exercises are meant to keep the body fit, but the yoga is meant to achieve the highest perfection of life. How can you say that exercise which is meant to keep this temporary body fit can give you the perfection of life? No. Of course, no doubt, with fit body, one can perform better yoga. That's a fact. Your body is not fit, you cannot perform yoga properly. But keeping the body fit itself is not the goal of life. Keeping the body fit to, to perform yoga so that I can achieve the ultimate goal of life, then this is perfect way of living. Right? The real purpose for practicing yoga is to realize that I am not this body. I want eternal happiness, complete knowledge, and eternal life. That is the ultimate end of the true yoga system. The goal of yoga is transcendental. So many times, of course, some yoga systems outside world you see, some of them are very limited to the bodily exercises. Some of them they go a little beyond body, that is mind. They say by performing yoga, they become peaceful, their mind becomes stable, and that is where again they end. But the goal of yoga is not again mind control. Goal of yoga is attaining the perfection of life, that is achieving the spiritual body, Satchidananda body. The goal of yoga is transcendental, beyond both body and mind. See, this point comes here. Srila Prabhupada says the goal of yoga is transcendental. It is not based on body and mind. It is beyond body and mind. Self realization is sought by three methods: the path of knowledge, that is jnana; the path of eightfold system, that is the dhyana yoga or hatha yoga system, ashtanga yoga system; third, the path of bhakti yoga, right? By jnana, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and bhakti yoga. So these are the three methods by which one can attain self realization. In each of these processes, one has to realize the constitutional position of the living entity, his relationship with God, and the activities whereby he can re-establish the lost link and achieve the highest perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. Following any of the above mentioned three methods, one is sure to reach the supreme goal sooner or later. This was asserted by the Lord in the second chapter. Even a little endeavor on the transcendental path offers a great hope for deliverance. Neha abhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. So a little endeavor on this path of dharma, on the path of true yoga system, a little endeavor can offer great hope for deliverance. Of these three methods, the path of Bhakti Yoga is especially suitable for this age because it is the most direct method of God realization. To be doubly assured, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to confirm his former statement. One may sincerely accept the path of self realization, but the process of cultivation of knowledge, jnana, and the practice of the eightfold yoga system are generally very difficult for this age. Therefore, despite constant endeavor, one may fail for many reasons. First of all, one may not be actually following the process. the rules and the regulations. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare war on the illusory energy. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less declaring war against Maya. That is why you see those who are on the path of self-realization, those who are on the path of bhakti yoga, they come across a lot of difficulties in their life. They face a lot of problems in their life. Why? Because they have started a war against Maya, started a war against the illusory energy of the Lord. And when there is war, you cannot be comfortable. You have to be alert every moment of your life. Then only ultimately you can win that war. Otherwise, any moment you are little inattentive, Maya will conquer you. कृष्ण बहिर्मुख जीव भोगवांछा करे पाश्चाते माया झापटिया धरे. Very beautifully said. Chaitanya Charitamrita. That Krishna bhuliya jeev bhogavancha kare. Forgetting the Lord, the jiva wants to enjoy sense gratification, and just beside Krishna is Maya. She captures that living entity in her grip. And when we are in the grip of Maya, we understand that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate means to get out of Maya. That is when the war begins. Right? So therefore, it's to pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare war on the illusory energy. When we accept any process of self-realization, we are actually declaring war against Maya, illusion, and Maya is certain to place many difficulties before us. Therefore, there is a chance of failure, but one has to become very steady. Whenever a person tries to escape the clutches of the illusory energy, she tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. She is just like, that is why the task, because Maya is servant of Krishna. She is Krishna's energy, and she does the thankless job of keeping the living entities bound within this material. Her job is called as thankless job because she is like prisoner who keeps she is like the jail keeper who keeps the prisoners inside the prison house. To When we accept any process of self-realization, we are actually declaring war against Maya, illusion, and Maya is certain to place many difficulties before us. Therefore, there is a chance of failure, but one has to become very steady. Whenever a person tries to escape the clutches of the illusory energy, just like a criminal wants to somehow escape the jail, the jailer is right there keeping the doors tight closed. So Maya is that powerful. She tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. A conditioned soul is already allured by the modes of material energy, and there is every chance of being allured again, even while performing transcendental disciplines. This is called yoga chalita manasaha, deviation from the transcendental path. Arjuna is inquisitive to know the result of deviation from the path of self-realization. We will, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, quoted above, yogat. Yogat means from the practice of yoga. Chalita means diversion. And manasaha means the mind. So there is every chance for the mind to be diverted from yoga practice. So there is every chance for the mind to be diverted from the yoga practice. We all have some experience of trying to concentrate by reading a book, and our mind is so disturbed that it does not allow us to concentrate on the book, right? Lot of, and as Srila Prabhupada started this organization called as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, as the devotees are going out and preaching and trying to make more and more devotees, Maya is also on the other hand, on the other side, is becoming more and more powerful. Maya is coming up with newer and newer technology to allure, to distract the yogi who is trying hard to go towards Krishna. She is trying hard to pull him down again into this material. And all the social media, the different kinds of apps, the artificial intelligence, so many things are nothing but different tools of Maya to capture the living entity and remain, to keep the living entity permanently in this material. That is why as soon as one realizes that this world is full of Maya, illusory energy of the Lord, and I don't belong to this material world, I belong to the spiritual world, as soon as one realizes and attempts to go back to the spiritual world, Maya becomes alert and she put forth so many allurements so that the Jiva again will forget Lord Krishna and again continue to gratify his senses and serve the Maya in that way. Actually, Arjuna is asking a very important question. For one is subject to failure in all types of yoga, be it the Eightfold Yoga system, the Jnana Yoga system of speculative philosophy, or Bhakti Yoga system of devotional service, failure is possible on any of these paths. And the result of failure are clearly explained by Sri Krishna himself in the following dialogue with Arjuna. Arjuna, continuing his inquiry, asks, Kachin no bhaya vibhrashtas chinna bhram iva nashyati apratishto mahabaho Vimudho Brahmana Pathi. Brahmana Pathi, the one who is on the path of Brahman. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, the Brahmana Pathi is the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud, apratishto, with no position in any sphere. No position means apratishtaha. Mahabaho, he is referring to Krishna. O mighty armed Krishna, O Mahabaho, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud? Kachin na ubhaya vibhrashtas chinna bhram iva nashyati. Perish like a riven cloud. Chinna bhram, with no position in any sphere. Apratishto. Will not be the situation, will this not be the situation of the yogi who is failed in his practice? Arjuna is asking. एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेत्तुम् अर्हसि अशेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्य चेत्त नहि उपपद्यते त्वदन्यः संशयस्य चेत्त नहि उपपद्यते other than you nobody can answer this question, other than you nobody can solve this doubt. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. Etanme samshayam Krishna. This is my doubt, O Krishna. Chettum arhasi asheshatah. But for yourself, tvad anyaha, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Chetta nahi upapadyate. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, and Krishna starts answering questions of Arjuna. पार्थनैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते नहि कल्याणकृत् कच्चित् durgatim tata gacchati. Partha na naiveha na iva eha na mutra vinashas tasya vidyate. The one, O son of Partha, the blessed Lord said, son of Pritha, Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities, Kalyanakrit, does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. Naivehana mutra vinashas tasya vidyate. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit, the one who is on this auspicious path, the path of transcendentalist who is engaged in auspicious activities, does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Durgatim tata gacchati. So one who does good, he never overcome by evil. Then Krishna says, Prapya Punya, what happens to him? If a transcendental is on the path of transcendence, on the path of auspicious activities, he does not meet with destruction, he does not get smashed like the riven cloud, then what happens to him? Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto abhijayate. So such yoga bhrashtas who could not finish their yoga in this life, what happens to this? Them, the unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into family of rich aristocracy. Anybody who starts performing yoga, it can be jnana yoga or dhyana yoga or bhakti yoga. If by chance, if they are not able to finish that, if they are not able to achieve perfection in this life, they will go to the heavenly planets, the higher planetary systems, and there, after enjoying life, because performing transcendental activities is not something ordinary. It gets you a lot of punya, and with that punya you can enjoy in the heavenly planets. And after enjoying for so many years, you will be born again. You will be given another chance by the Supreme Lord, by the arrangements of Krishna. You will be given another chance where you will take birth either in the family of a righteous people or in the family of rich aristocracy. Where in the family of righteous people, if you are born from the childhood, you will be brought up righteously with all the spiritual activities. And if you are born in rich aristocracy, again, there is no problem for the daily necessities of life. Everything will be ready. You just have to focus on your spiritual life. अथवा योगिनाम एव कुले भवति धीमताम एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम लोके जन्म यदीदृशम. Krishna says, otherwise what happens? Or he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists. Athava yoginam eva kule, yoginam kule, who are surely great in wisdom. Dhimatam, verily such a birth is rare in this world. Etadhi durlabhataram. So the unsuccessful yogi, he will go to the higher planetary systems, enjoy life for thousands of years, and again come back to this material, come back to the earth and take birth in a righteous family or in rich aristocratic family. Or there is another chance, another way that he can be given a chance that is very rare. And what is that? He may take birth in the family of transcendentalism, those who are already practicing yoga systems. one may take birth in such a family. And that is why it is said it is durlabhataram. Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhate paurvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddho kurunandana. On taking such a birth, he again revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. So, after taking such birth, either in the family of Brahmanas or in the rich aristocracy or in the family of the transcendentalists, what happens? He gets a chance to again revive the divine consciousness of his previous life. And he tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. Son of Kuru. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते हि अवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्द ब्रह्म अतिवर्तते. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist striving for yoga stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Purification of consciousness is the process of this Krishna consciousness movement. Presently, we are preparing this divine consciousness, for our consciousness goes with us at the time of death. Consciousness is carried from the body just as the aroma of a flower is carried by the air. When we die, this material body, composed of five elements earth, water, fire, air, ether, decomposes, and the gross materials return to the elements. Or, as the Christian Bible says, dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. In some societies, the body is burned, in others, it is buried, and in others, it is thrown to the animals. In India, the Hindus burn the body, and thus the body is transformed into ashes. Ash is simply another form of earth. Christians bury the body, and after some time in the grave, the body eventually turns to dust, which again, like ash, is another form of earth. There are other societies, like the Parsi community in India, that neither burn nor bury the body but throw it to the vultures, and the vultures immediately come to eat the body, and then the body is eventually transformed into stool. So, in any case, this beautiful body, which we are soaping and caring for so nicely, will eventually turn into either stool, ashes, or dust. This is the destination of this body, which which we take care like anything, which we give the utmost importance, right? The body. We decorate the body. I should look handsome. I should look beautiful. That beauty, that handsomeness, that fair skin, everything one day becomes dust or stool or ash. This is the destination of this body, right? At death, the finer elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, which combined are called consciousness, carry the small particle of spirit soul to another body to suffer or enjoy according to one's work. Our consciousness is molded by our work. If we associate with stool, our consciousness, which is like the air, will carry the aroma of stool, and thus at the time of death will transport us to an undesirable body. Or if the consciousness passes over roses, it carries the aroma of roses, and thus we are transported to a body wherein we can enjoy the results of our previous work. If we train ourselves to work in Krishna consciousness, our consciousness will carry us to Krishna. Different types of body are developed. It's very important. We'll read it again. If we train ourselves to work in Krishna consciousness, our consciousness will carry us to Krishna. Different types of body are developed according to consciousness. Therefore, if we train our consciousness according to the yogic principles, we will attain a body wherein we can practice yoga. We will get good parents and a chance to practice the yoga system, and automatically we will be able to revive the Krishna consciousness practiced in our previous body. Therefore, it is stated in this last verse, by virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles even without seeking them. Therefore, our present duty is elevation and eternal blissful life full of knowledge. In other words, if we want to go back home, back to Godhead, we have to train ourselves in divine consciousness or Krishna consciousness. This is what we see many times. You go and meet some people who are little pious, and you just tell them about Krishna consciousness, they immediately take up. They immediately start chanting. You need not force them much. Just have to trigger that chanting is the only way to be happy in this world. Chanting is the only way to go back to the spiritual world. Chanting is the only way to please Lord Krishna. Chanting is the only way to please Guru. As soon as they hear this, they immediately start chanting. Why? Because of their previous lives spiritual activities, they will have natural attraction. He automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles. The natural attraction will be there because in the subtle body, in the consciousness, it is already there, because in the previous life it is already practiced. So one is naturally attracted and he advances faster in Krishna consciousness if somebody has already practiced in previous life. Of course, without Srila Prabhupada's mercy, even that cannot happen. You may have practiced in the previous life, but Srila Prabhupada, if you are not blessed by pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, even this cannot happen. Even if you are pious, even if you have performed spiritual activities in your previous life, even we may have attraction towards spiritual activities, but still, if one wants to get Krishna consciousness, it is only by the grace of a pure devotee. That is Srila Prabhupada. Today, we have some attraction to Krishna consciousness. We are practicing certain spiritual activities. We are trying to follow some rules and regulations. All this is because of one pure devotee of Krishna who descended from the spiritual world only for our sake, just to save us, the fallen souls, from this material world. Without his mercy, we are nothing. We are zero. Right? So we should be always indebted to La Prabhupada. Always be grateful. Every moment of our life, those who are devotees, those who are chanting, every moment of our life should be the moment of gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada. If Srila Prabhupada had not come to this material world, all those today who are happily jumping and dancing and chanting and singing in the temples or in the houses, all of us would have been in a totally different place, doing all nonsense on the 31st, December 31st night, just like any other people are doing. Right? So it's our great fortune that we are born at the time when Srila Prabhupada appeared, and he has already blessed the world with Krishna consciousness. And we are trying to follow in his path to achieve the ultimate end of human life, right? That is to go back to the spiritual world, right? So here we end. Thank you all for joining. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.